What's up, guys? Damnation-n-Hellfire here, and tonight we got Ross Crow with us.
Good evening.
And I do believe Vikes is going to jump on here in a little while. I think he's just in the midst of doing some stuff tonight. We got a fair amount of material to cover tonight, so I guess we'll get right into it. First thing, as everybody is aware of, and if you're not, maybe you should log on to the game once in a while. OP11 has arrived. So yeah, this is normal OP upgrade as far as you can upgrade your OP, and there's a few buildings you can upgrade with it. At this point in time, you can't do turrets and all that kind of stuff, but you are going to be able to upgrade the outpost itself, the War Academy. You're going to get some new advanced resource generators, which we'll talk about here shortly. And yeah, so that's in the game live and going on now. So let's see. Here's what your advanced resource generators look like. They have ones for uranium. Hey, look, they have a green tint to them. Who'd have thunk it? And then you have the one for titanium. And let's see. So they work kind of like your normal res generators. You go and they build up the advanced resources slowly over time. You go in and bank them just like you normally do. These are going to have a fairly significant amount of health, though, because since we're not getting turret upgrades quite yet, these have a good bit of health to help balance out your bubble pad, because that was a big concern a lot of people had. It's like, well, my OP is getting all this extra health. What's that going to do to my bubble pad? So this was one of the ways that they tried to help answer that, was giving these guys a good little chunk of health. And then they also gave the War Academy a significant chunk of health to fix that out. So yeah, so the good thing about the res that are in these generators can't be stolen. So they're sticking to their guns with the whole your advanced resources can't be stolen thing, and that's a good thing. I know lots of people were concerned about that.
And I was concerned about the offset of from the OP myself. So I am happy that they're water turrets. They can be placed, right in the front of your channel there. So they'll be taken out, hopefully.
Sorry,
so it won't hurt your bubble pad. I mean, yeah. So you can fix that hopefully well.
Sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. I saw Toxic in chat. So.
Oh.
But now, from my understanding is, the amount of stuff the amount of resources you get off these aren't going to be like huge or anything. Like, I believe I heard him say something about like in the course of the day or 2 days or whatever, that you might get like 850 titanium out of your titanium generator. But it's better than nothing. I mean, there's not really much you can do with 850 titanium. Maybe a little weapon or 3 refit here and there. But that's about it. But I mean, like I said, it's better than nothing. It's a step in the right direction. Is it a step as far as I would like to maybe see? Probably not. But any step in the right direction is a good step.
I would have liked to seen myself the balance in the armor maybe go to the portal, without making it there, because I just don't know how it's gonna always have this weird amount. So, but it's okay. I mean, I'm thankful for it. It's better than not having it, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I understand why they didn't do it with the portals at this time, because that would be stuff that was PvP related. And PvP is such a mess right now without jacking with turrets and portals and all that stuff. I can understand why they put it off. Because the upgrade of the portal probably would have meant upgrade to power on the portal as well. And then, yeah, you would have had a bigger mess than what we already have for PvP. I don't think anybody wants that right now. So you want to cover this slide, Ross, because I'm trying to get Toxic here for a minute.
Well, the uranium facility requires, that's what we're on, or it just requires the Outpost 5. It takes 21 hours to build. The resources are very mild, so I mean that's about all. And you can get it's a level 1. That's it.
And then it goes up to the level 2, which, as you can see, the resources get a little bit more significant, but still not anything outrageous. And the build time, though, is like 4 days, which, I mean, all things considered, it's not great, but it's not near as terrible as what some stuff is out there either. But you will have to have uranium for this one. You'll have to have 32,500 uranium.
Okay, and then this one here will be the one that's going to really balance you out, right?
Oh, shoot, yeah. I'm going. Oh, I went too far. Well, I think more this one here will be the
this one here.
Out.
Right.
Oh, we got Toxic with us. Hey, Toxic.
G'day, how are we?
Good. How are you? Special guest appearance, or did you have the BP flu today?
No. It's all just a special appearance, you know.
Gotcha. Yeah, and this will be the one that balances out your bubble pad. This is the one where you're going to end. That's going to have, what is that? Is that 1.5 million health? Is that right?
Correct.
I really wish they would put comments and shit.
That's what it says.
You're going to have like a fair amount of uranium to do this guy. It's 225,000. And then you're looking at 11 days to get it up to level 3. So, cool. So, yeah, but it looks like the capacity on this is 3,000 uranium. So, how long that takes to build up, I'm not sure. It might be like, in 3 days you get the 3,000, or it might be 1 day. I'm not exactly sure on that.
Wonder if you can get by it 1.5 million without killing it.
It depends. The tanks can probably rush right by it, but if you have anything with a significant amount of weapons on it, that's not a clown car, but actually has weapons on it that are designed for it, it's probably going to not be easy to do.
Right.
And then here's the one for the titanium. It's the titanium extractor level 1 that you get at outpost level 6. So you can see the res cost isn't too bad. Here again, you'll need 32,500 uranium. And it takes 4 days to build. I'm currently in the process of building one of these myself. And then you have the level 2 one, which is the one that also has 1.5 million hit points, significant amount of resources, and a fair amount of titanium. And you're looking at a little over 11 days again. And that's available, of course, at OP11. Like other resource generators, you must click bank to obtain the resources, and they have a significant amount of health. Since the resources cannot be stolen, it's advised that you place them on the outskirts of your base for earlier base bubbling. So there, even the CM is saying, use these to help your bubble pad out. Outpost 11 is also going to feature some conquest yard changes. There's going to be let's see. It's been, they're just giving an overview. I was saying it's been a positive addition to the PvP landscape, which I would agree with that. That you can actually have a PvP ship building at the same time as a regular ship. They're going to introduce a smaller conquest shipyard for low-level players. And then the one that most people that have it now, the one you have is now going to become the level 2 conquest yard. And then at OP11, you can upgrade to a level 3 conquest yard. So as you can see here on the conquest yard level 1, that you can get that once you hit outpost level 6. Resource requirement very low, build time extremely low. Like, for example, the one that we all have currently now, we had to spend 42 days building. This is 2 days, so huge thing right there, in my opinion.
Right.
And then the one that most of us had now is getting, of course, turned into the Conquest Yard level 2. And it gives you a 15% saving on all the weights of all your, your Reaver, Scourge, Legion, Dracker, Forsaken tech. 175k uranium. Okay amount of resources, and then 6 days to build this, which is, that's, wow. Well, I couldn't have been 6 days when it first came out. That's all I'm saying. But I mean, I think that's a great thing that it's like down that far at this point. And that's at OP level 10. And then, of course, here for OP level 11 is where you can upgrade to the level 3 one. And you get a whole whopping increase of your armor from 8,000 to 10,000. Woo, woo. Yeah, that's not going to affect your bubble pad at all. The okay amount of resources. There again, significant amount of uranium at 225K. And then this one will be 11 days, 9 hours. So, you know, compared to what we had to go through building it the first time, 11 days, 9 hours isn't bad at all. And I know a bunch of us have Conquest shipyard tokens from either TLCs or, you know, picked them up in raid prizes or bounty prizes or whatever. So a lot of us will be able to do the Conquest yard for absolutely free. Let's talk a little bit about expert builds. We'll just go over that real quick. It's an option in your shipyards that you can down right above where it says build ship now. There's a little check mark. Yeah, I can't even talk. A little box where you can put a check mark in that will allow you to do expert builds. And what expert builds do is they require more resources, but they also give you some rank and shorten your build time. As you can see in this example, the build went from 22 days to 11 days, and you get a decent amount of rank on it. So, I mean, and this is, we talked about this a couple times before. It's like, it's a good idea. I wish the expert build thing would come in maybe at a little bit lower level shipyard, because you don't get this until you get shipyard level 6. And when you get shipyard level 6, you're probably, you know, you have to have OP 11. So that means you're on top of your game, and you're probably not building old stuff anymore, which is where all these time reductions really come into play. But the rank part of it is still useful, though. So, and as you can see, the reductions aren't the same across the board. The Zelos being a lower level tier hull gets a pretty significant time reduction. Then when we go and look at the Inferno Dragon, your daytime there is only reduced by like 2 days, basically. So I think it's going to be up to each individual what you're building, whether it'll be worth it for you to use the expert build or not, you know, whether it's worth it to you to get the extra rank for the cost of the extra resources and whatnot. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I like the, I've kind of even thought, you know, they did say that you'll get your amount of resources will be dependent on how full you complete, you know, so you don't have to do a complete build. And so I think myself will take advantage of, if I'm able to build a shell and have it expertly ranked excuse me, part way. I see the benefits in that, or partial builds. I'm never one to really I'm not really going to throw a 17 build day in my shipyard. I have too many issues with myself. I would coin it before. I can't see something sitting in my dock that long. I coin things, and that's too much for me to coin. So I don't do that on purpose. I don't do 17-day builds ever.
Yeah, and I mean, I think one big thing too is you're going to have to look at your savings of time on expert builds versus your saving of time of refitting with an officer and having your R&D done. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think it's more if you've got, let's just say you've got 10 Conqueror build tokens, and you've got whatever tokens in your inventory where you can build that thing in one foul swoop with your tokens, then that would be an advantage. But yeah, 17 days, I wouldn't do it just for the couple of days. But if you've got the tokens, or if you want to coin it or whatnot, well, I would coin it with the rank on, of course. Why wouldn't you? That's how I would see this be beneficial.
And now, something definitely worth mentioning too is the expert build feature is not going to be available for brand new hulls. So, like for example, your Razor Tails or your Bat Rays that you're building right now aren't going to have this option. The builds are going to have, the hulls are going to have to be out for a little while before they get put in the expert build section. And welcome, Vikes. I just saw that you popped in. Well, actually, I saw it a minute ago. It's just in the middle of talking.
Not a problem. Yeah. I'm still, yeah. It's not for us, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, for the players who are at the top of the game, it's definitely not for them. But I mean, like I said, I don't know. Like, there might be things that it might even for us come in useful. Like, for example, if base race comes around again, and I have to build a whole new thing of icebreakers to be able to do that, this will come in real handy at that point, you know, because my icebreakers have now gone from like a 20-day build to maybe a 10-day build.
Well, I had tokens to build 4 ships, so I just need the lead ship built.
Yeah.
Again.
I mean, and that'll be interesting too. And I'm assuming that you can, but I haven't heard one way or the other. But like, if you go the expert build option, I'm assuming you can still use tokens to speed it up afterwards.
I'm sure you can. But yeah, now I don't have no icebreaker tokens left, so I don't need them now.
Yeah, well, after base race and having scrap mine and not being able to do it, losing out on 30 days worth of defense structure tokens, yeah, I've been starting to save up on them again for when it comes back around. Frankly, you know.
Yeah, I wasn't too happy about that. I won't even get into it.
Yeah, we had that discussion already.
Yeah, I can see this come in handy though for people who have quit the game and come back, or people or players that have just come up. They can get the dragon, for example, in the FM, and then with tokens they can use this and have a couple of them out quickly, and they can participate better in the FM. So
Well,
it's good in certain ways, but I don't think for the top end player there's as much to much of an option. I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only downside, even for those people who are gone for a while and coming back, while they can do that stuff, and before they can do it, they have to upgrade their OP to 11 and their shipyard to 6 before they.
True. I didn't.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think that's fair either. That's it should be at the next level down where they could do the expert builds.
They can't do it. They can't, honestly. This one's out of their range, so that part is not really.
Maybe they could have done like at shipyard level 5, you would get an expert build option that would maybe like give you not quite as much rank or something like that, and maybe shave a little less build time off of, but you know, still make it something available to those people who actually need it more than what we would.
Exactly.
Even if they were just only older hulls, even older hulls, I guess is what I'm saying. But for the new, even their new players and the up and comer and lower players that still need those hulls that that they don't have offered. It'd be nice to.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were done.
No, I was just meaning that. So if they, I don't know, if you just threw the Apollo in there, something like that. I mean.
Yeah, it'd be like shipyard 5. You could do tier 6 and lower stuff or something like, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Something like that. Yeah.
But as we talked about, like a little bit last week, expert builds do not apply to refit. So it's like a all or nothing type deal, unless you just want to do the blank hull and then do refits via your R&D reductions and your officer reductions, which is probably some of the stuff I might look at doing that way. They only increase resource costs based on the hull. So whatever components you put on there, your resource requirements are not going to increase because of those. They're, as we were just talking about, they're not going to be available for brand new hulls right away. Let's see. What's it? I can't. Cost increases and time reductions are not done at a flat rate, as we already talked about. There is difference depending on the ship tier. And the shipyard has to be level 6 if you want to do expert builds for regular builds, and you have to have your conquest yard at level 3 to do expert builds for your conquest stuff.
Okay, I have one question then. New ships. Okay, yeah, just one.
Okay.
Well, you're saying new ships. Well, how new a ship? I mean, we're at the end of the year, so is it this whole year's worth of ships, or?
Well, we don't know. We don't know at this point in time. They didn't They didn't go into detail on only stuff below tier 7. They haven't really said, and I don't know anybody that's like coined it and has it done already to ask them. So
yeah, well, I mean that's what I was just kind of wondering, how new a ship it is, and or is it going by tiers or?
now I will say the dragon is in there. Now, granted, it's not one of the ones that gives you a huge reduction, but the dragon is in there, and it's a little bit. It's been out for a little while, but it's not what I would consider an old hull at this point.
Right, exactly. That's why I was just wondering about some of our, our Conqueror hulls that we have, if that's going to be the older ones that people can actually get done, like the Onslaught or, Missile Cruiser. It's just, simple ones like that. If they're going to be affected or not.
Huh. Now, no Phobos in chat is saying it works on the Siren hull, the new Defender that we just got. So that's kind of interesting.
Ah, see, yeah, that's a Defender though. It's not. It's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, but
Defenders may be different.
Yeah, but it's still a new hull, so I wouldn't have thought it would have worked yet. So I don't know if it does. Cool. Fox,
Yeah.
you looked like you wanted to say something a minute ago.
Yeah, no, I just thought that it might just be that the raid hull we're playing with now is considered as a new one, and the one we played with last month is considered as a first step down from new. So it might have a little bit of a reduction, and 2 raids away will have more of a reduction in that sort of way. But with the Siren being in there, I don't know, it's got me bamboozled. So and that means that's Australian for confused.
Yeah, believe it or not, we've heard that word over here too. That one actually made it the whole way across the other side of the world.
There you go. Yeah, but that's just what I was going to say. That's all.
Oh, and Davis Huddle in chat is saying that the Siren gets reduced because it's given a reduction to the older tech on it, not the hull itself. So that could be possible too.
Well, that's interesting then, isn't it? If the tech and the hull is separate, that's very interesting then. Because you're not going to get any reduction on the newest hull, but if you put on if you use older specials or armors or whatnot, then you could still save a bit of time, and you get the rank.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it comes more down to the rank, because like we were saying, as far as like with reductions you get from R&D and officers and stuff, the reduction of time you get from those things, refitting might actually be more than what you get from doing the expert build. You just wouldn't get the rank. So it's kind of going to be up to you to figure it out and decide which is best for you.
I just, on this whole thing, I just don't feel that if you have the shipyard to the appropriate level and the OP to the appropriate level, that you're not in the position of needing to catch up ships. So the requirements that it takes to get this, you're already okay in the game. You're already up to par.
I don't know, Ross. I don't know, because I haven't got 5 onslaughts built. I've only got 4. I haven't got 4 impact cruisers built. So, sorry, 5. So it's. I reckon I could still use it. Maybe I haven't not that far. I don't know what the time savings are on those specific hulls. But if it's a reduction, and the hulls are still current when the refactor comes in, I don't know. It's like a catch-up thing where you can get 5 of everything, because now we've got the extra storage bits and stuff, so you don't have to throw hulls away. So yeah, it may come in handy,
I think it's going to be one of those things that looking at it just on paper is going to be hard to really have a full grasp of it. You're going to have to actually get to OP11 and get to Conqueror Yard 3 before you can fully say whether it's good or whether it's not.
Well,
you're going to have to see what those specific reductions are.
Well, you see, in that take, only to get those reduction at OP11, you're going to see people just wanting to keep upgrading their OP up there and everything to get so their dock everything could be upgraded to get that advantage and not have all the tech needed for them.
Yeah, but I mean that's something we see all the time in the game. People are ready. Oh, I gotta get my outpost upgrade. Gotta get my outpost upgrade. It's like, well, dude, maybe you should spend some time upgrading turrets before you upgrade your outpost again. You know, I mean, so that's not something that we don't see already in the game a lot.
Right, I know we do see that. We do see that, but I think it could happen even more with this here about going, well, if I could save this so much time on this, then I mean, it's especially if it's a icebreaker or something, you get major time taken off. You know, that it'd be worth it for them to get so they can get out and be able to do stuff faster.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that would be honestly for me if I were coming back in and doing it. That might be something I would even look at. You know, it's like, okay, well, if I'm just getting into the game, or like, you know, I got banned or something, had to make a new account, or I know that's. But or you know, if I'm a new player, I might want to have people feed me res to get to OP11 as fast as possible, so I can like start my PvE game. Because as a new player, I'm not going to be that worried about PvP. So if my bubble pad's all screwed up and I don't have all that other tech, I don't care, because that's not my game right now.
Exactly my point. No, it's just something really weird. That is just
On the HQ app for Battle Pirates, they've done something here with the travel times. So now each target whenever you click on it, it's going to display the travel time that it's going to take your fleet to travel to your target, which can be more strategic about which target you'd like to go for. I don't know about the strategic part about what target you want to go for part, but it's nice to know how long it's going to take my fleet to get from point A to point B.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked at the app since they've done that, so and check that out. But I heard it's pretty cool.
Well, and that's a great deal. And I'm an app player, and I have to say that it's huge because, in all honesty, you have things that are over a minute away, and so prior to this, you were traveling for possibly over a minute just randomly, and you had no idea. Well, over a minute every time you're going to go for a target is quite a bit. You know, that's how and so this is great. I think it's a great addition.
Awesome. Hey, I finally get to take a break in my talking and let somebody else talk for a little bit. Ross, do you want to do the Devil Driver campaign?
Sure, I can. The Devil Driver campaign begins Wednesday, September 26th, so it's already started, and that started at noon, and then it's going to end on October 3rd, also at noon, PDT time. And you use your razor tail, you pick up the razor tail, and you also want to get your hands on the. Wait a second. Did you pick up the razor tail, but you also want to get your hands on the bat ray? This is for the bat ray. So the Devil Driver campaign's for you. The first prize pack, you're going to pick up the hydro explosive casing. Prize pack 2, it's the 65U-7 Ripsaw Gatling gun. And VXP token times 2, and that's 7,500. Now, prize pack 3 is where you're going to pick up the hull itself, well, the blueprint for the bat ray. You're going to pick up 3 of the ranking tokens, along with 1 day build token for that hull. The mastery prize, for that, you're going to get 3 ranking tokens and 2 day build tokens and a badge. Now, I want to make sure it says Wingman badge. That's not a new special. Let me tell you, that's honest to God, that's a badge. And so it really is. And I got to say that the difficulty level in this campaign here for me is astronomical.
I was going to say my exact phrase I would use would be through the fucking roof when it comes to the damage.
Right. I mean, so I guess if you know that going into it, in all honesty, it's that much. It's enough to make you upset in the whole bit. But I guess if you know that going beforehand and choose to do it, okay. The benefits are high. You do get a hull, so comparatively, I don't know. You're I don't know. how it works out.
Now, I will say this: my experience, as many of you know, I am on the test server. My experience on the test server was that if you have 5 holes, the amount of damage that you took as compared to having 4 holes there was definitely a significantly noticeable difference. So my thoughts would be, if you can do this and you can get a 5th hull for whatever fleet you're building and not have to, like mortgage the house to do it, it's worth doing. If you can't, don't. Because whatever hull that you didn't get before, you'll be able to pick up in the upcoming raid. But yeah, I will tell you that the damage in this is through the freaking roof. Like, I honestly could not even do prize pack 2. And I'm not going to say I had an awesome fleet of mana cores, but I had a respectable fleet of mana cores that I was able to do the last raid for, a fairly relatively small amount of coin compared to the amount of points that I got. And I couldn't even finish prize pack 2. So be prepared. It's not a walk in the park.
Yeah, I said that's why I haven't done it yet. I was waiting for everybody's see posts on it and all that, and I'm like, oh God, do I even want to do it now? I haven't really decided yet.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I have not tried the bat one, but I've thought I'd pick up a few quick tokens to finish another Razor, and that soon. It cost me more than a fleet to do the prize pack 2, and I was just lucky that I had I got a full fleet of missile, and I've got 4 scatterguns, and I had to use the scatterguns to finish off prize pack 2. So it's ridiculous. Yeah. And I also have, I mean, mine aren't the best manicores, but I could get a few 100 million points in the raid without really trying too hard. So yeah, it is rather difficult.
Well, and I mean, one of the things when it was brought up about how difficult it was I think Chris had posted something about, well, this is top tier content for the top tier hull in the upcoming raid cycle. And, my response to him was, I understand that this isn't the first time that we've had this happen, that we have a TLC where we get a top tier hull for the upcoming raid content. What is different this time is the amount of damage that we're expected to take to get that top tier hull. Like, I remember when the Hydra first came out and we had to do TLCs to get the Hydra or whatever, the damage in that was nowhere near the damage we're having to face in this. It's like they literally, and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they literally take all the elite targets that we had from the last raid cycle and put them in one TLC run through?
I believe so, yes.
And they didn't tone down damage at all. We don't have half repair. So yeah, this is they kind of missed the mark with this one, guys, in my opinion.
I think that's you hit the nail on the head there with the half repair. These targets were half repair, so if this was half repair, it wouldn't be so bad. I would have gotten away with it with a little bit more than half a fleet's worth of damage, or 3/4 of a fleet's of damage. But because it's not, it is like, almost, it's unreasonable. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, there's a difference between, okay, you expect me to slap a coin or 2 on my tank to finish out my mastery runs or whatever each one, and saying, oh well, guess what? You're gonna have to spend like 20 coins to repair your whole freaking fleet if you want to get through the campaign. Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen.
I mean, I have no problem spending a little bit of coin to do them, but when you gotta spend, coin your fleet once or twice per pack, no, that's not worth it.
Well, in my opinion, if people were able to somehow grind to get the first haul, the first one that they were coin free, many players. I would have liked at least the time on the campaigns just extended out, maybe somehow to make those players make it still possible to do. I don't care how it's set up, but the coin price is my issue also, just with the whole thing. And that's the only issue with the target is the coin damage.
Here you go, Toxic. You can talk about this campaign. It's a nice, easy one for you.
Okay, it's the Heavy Metal Meltdown campaign. We had that before. It started on Tuesday, and it will end on Tuesday, October 2nd at noon. It is made for the hunter. I've done mine with the hunter, and I gotten through it okay. I've not tried the fang teeth in it. Not that good a underwater driver. And it will give you 75,000 and 316,000 uranium once you completed it. But be warned, you will not be allowed to overfill. So if that puts you over, go roll a few crews until you know you can fit it in, because whatever is over will go back to the sea.
Yep, and also just as a note, stuff like irradiated cutthroats, which increases uranium payouts, doesn't work on these TLCs.
No.
Yes.
No. I've done the first one. I haven't done the second pack yet. I plan on doing it.
I've done them both, rolled away all my uranium on cruise already. I did manage to get one grease monkey out of it, so I was kind of happy. I did mine with my produce sense. It took a very minimal amount of damage.
Nice.
Right.
It's not that bad. I think it's
well,
5
I used my
run
hunters
throughs.
in one. It's just because I didn't want to use my proto sense.
Yeah, I would say the prize pack one is 14 minutes. Was 14 minutes total damage on the proto fleet on auto. And so, yeah, these are totally reasonable. These are good. This is a great campaign.
Yeah, I think on auto, the only thing I noticed that really caused any real damage on these was running through fire fields.
Right.
You know? Because when you blow up the gluts in there, of course, obviously they leave fire pools behind. And when you're on auto, you just kind of wander through them and, oh, look, I'm taking damage. How about that?
Yeah, nice.
And then, Dan, you can talk about the Whiplash.
All right, Whiplash campaign. It starts the same time as the other campaigns and ends on the 3rd. It says, well, you want to pick up the Bat Ray? This is the campaign for you.
Actually, this one's for the Razor Tail.
Oh yeah. If you picked up the Bat Ray, chance you can get your Razor Tail in this campaign. Yeah. With the prize pack 1, you get the Wave Diver Warheads. And a prize pack 2, you get the Needler Rockets and 2 7,500 EXP tokens. And in prize pack 3 is where you get the Razor Tail. Plus 3 7,500 VXP tokens and 1 Razor Tail build token. And the Mastery Prize you can do 3 times, so you can get 6 days worth of Razor Tail tokens. You can get a whole bunch of VXP tokens for them, and you get that wonderful badge, Razor's Edge badge.
I think Ren called that the cocaine razor blade badge the other day.
Oh God!
It looks like it.
Kind of what it looks like. Lay off the drugs, art department. Lay off the drugs.
Yeah, I see. I'd only do this here campaign is to get my razors all done.
But it's cheaper to coin them.
I'm probably sure it is.
Well, I don't know because it is.
I'd have to see.
There is a fair amount of build tokens there.
Yeah, I mean 6.
But yeah, unless I'm mistaken, it's actually the exact same campaign as what the other one is that we were talking about earlier. It's just the prize packs are different. But as far as target wise, I'm pretty sure it's exactly the same.
I haven't done it, so I couldn't tell you for sure.
So then really look, I mean, that's quite a few levels to get to the 1 day token alone. If you already have them. So yeah, I'm
Well, if you have, the Razor
pack 1, go right
what was
to
that toxic?
Yeah, if you got the Razor, you skip pack 1. You go straight into pack 2. Pack 2's got 6 targets. I know that because I've done it and I've cried. I'm not sure whether I'm going to go do and I may try to do pack 3, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to get through another full level with just 4 scatterguns without a lead ship, and I'm not going to coin any any repairs on my Makara to get through that. So yeah, I think it goes up by 1 every pack, and I'm not sure whether the mastery pack stays at 7 or whether it goes to actual 8.
I'm pretty sure the mastery pack stays at 7. I'm
Okay.
thinking they should have gave us the Coke Razor Blade and maybe prize pack 1. That way we'd be all amped up and be like, yeah, this is fun. This is fun. But that's just me. But yeah, I mean, just spend a lot of time thinking about how much it's going to cost you to do this campaign compared to the rewards you get to see whether it's for you or not. And also remember that I'm pretty sure that in the upcoming raid, whatever haul you didn't pick up, you'll probably be able to get there. So, you know, that's also an option. Let's see. And fleet managing, with gathering resources out here on your base, once the resources are dropped off, results in not receiving those resources. They fix that. In the BPHQ app, the fleets that engage in combat in the companion app cannot be accessed after docking. They fix that. Also in the app, the 114 target is not available in the companion app as a valid target. They fix that. Also in the BP app, the general bug fixes, performance improvements in the app itself. And also they did general bug fixes and performance improvements in the game. I wish they would go in a little bit more detail about what those general bug fixes and general, you know, just it'd be nice to know. That's all.
Maybe it's just a filler. There isn't any.
They got to state that they're working on everything yet.
Right. So, some things worth noting. We have a mini VXP weekend coming up this Saturday. I believe it is. Is it Saturday?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
This Saturday at 9.
Yeah, because apparently a bunch of people in the states on the East Coast were affected by the hurricane that hit there, so they've actually given us a mini VXP weekend. So that's kind of cool. I mean, you know, and especially for the people who do end up getting, you know, one of the other holes out of the TLC that they didn't have before. If you don't get enough tokens to get it ranked, this can probably help you get it ranked up.
Yeah.
They had done a miscommunication with the advanced resource generators. They had originally said that you could use base parts to level those up. But that was actually incorrect, and you actually have to wait the actual build time or use structure build tokens on them, which I obviously would not recommend using structure build tokens because we got all the OP to upgrade and the shipyard to upgrade. Yeah, we'll talk about the shipyard, and it's 16 days worth of upgrade in the middle of the raid cycle too here in a little bit. But yeah, so you can't use base parts to do that. You have to do it the old-fashioned way. Some things that are upcoming that they're letting us know about. Sector consolidation. They're going to be reaping all the inactive bases and consolidating the amount of sectors down so that everyone is playing in a more active space. It's going to be about a month away. In about 2 weeks, they're going to give us the FAQ and additional information on this. What do you guys think about this? I know it's something a lot of people have been asking for a while.
Yeah. I'm for it, but I think that a lot of people are against it, but I'm for it. I don't like dead sectors myself. I like packed. That's just personal preference. So for everything.
I know my biggest concern, and I think it's a very valid concern, is that when you get in a really busy sector, a lot of times when you're like trying to do your FM or trying to do your raid or whatever, it can be very difficult to find targets that you need to hit because everybody else and their brother's out hitting them as well. So that's where I tend to like to go to a dead sector because I don't have like tons of competition for my targets that I'm looking for. So I would think if they're going to do this, that's cool, but make sure that you adjust spawn rates appropriately.
Well, yeah, that's just it. I was going to say that spawn rates on all things are going to be, except for salvages, of course, at this point in the game. But other than that, even the ranking targets, ranking weekend, all of them are going to be need to increase to whatever amount. Basically, you felt determined was okay for the full 500 sectors. We'll just take that same amount and we're just going to condense that. That's how I look at it, because they've already come up with that figure. thinking that that's the correct amount of them. So I think I'd be okay with that.
Like, I'm wondering too, like, exactly how they're going to do it. Or are they going to go down to, like, or instead of 500 worlds, are we going to have 400 worlds, or are we going to stick with 500 worlds, but maybe there's only 75 sectors in a world or something?
Yeah,
I'm wondering how they're going to go about it that way.
Well, it was stated, I thought I seen it stated, there's still going to be 5 worlds. They're just going to lower the amount of.
So are people going to be randomly moved? That's going to be the crazy part.
Yes.
You know? And then they're going to be allowed to jump to get back to their groups?
What they should do is give everybody, before anything even happens, give everyone a free relocate. Doesn't matter whether their time is in, out, or whether they're just relocated. They should get a free relocate once it's been all amalgamated. The other bit is how far will they go? Will they halve the sectors? Will they 60%? Will 40%? That all depends on how it's all going to play out, because the more people you got in one sector, the more PvP there's going to be. But also what Damnation said was there won't be enough targets in the FM and whatnot to hit for as many people as they're going to be in it. So it all depends of what the percentage is that they're going to cut the worlds and the sectors. So that we just need to wait and see for that. But yeah, everybody should get a relocate token. But as soon as this update is finished, you should have it in your.
Well, I mean, you don't even have to necessarily get a token. Just whenever they put this update out, just reset the timers for everybody.
Yeah, or that. Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah, so that you can get back to where you want it to be, or where you need it to be, or where you like to be.
I mean, I think that it's overall a good thing. I do have a couple concerns about it, but I think those concerns are probably fairly easily addressed if they do things correctly. So, of course, one of the things that's going to be coming out with the upgrade of OP11, it's not out yet, but they have intentionally held off on all PvP defense upgrades because still they knew exactly what would be needed following the PvP refactor, which personally I think that was a very smart thing for them to do. As I've stated many times, don't be jacking with PvP right now because it's already screwed up enough. But they're going to have more information coming shortly as far as when the defense building upgrades will be available. And also going with the PvP refactor is adjustments to bounty. This is another thing that, in my personal opinion, for better or for worse, some people might hate me for this, but I was a strong proponent of it's no point in jacking with bounty now until you do the PvP refactors, because the entire PvP metagame is going to shift once that refactor happens. And any changes that they would have made to bounty prior to that would have been probably totally pointless based on where the game ended up being. So, if and like I said, you guys can hate me for that if you want, but I think overall for the health of everything, it was better for them to not do any massive sweeping changes on bounty until after the refactor happened.
Well, what they should have done, they should have not played bounty. They should have let us have a bounty-free month or whatnot. Because there were so many raids and bounties and BXP weekends, just one after the other. You're starting to get a bit worn out.
Yeah, but we know that anytime that they have a monthly event scheduled, they're not going to cancel it because that's how they pay their bills. So, Ross, you look like you want to say something, buddy. You look like you want to cuss me out for telling them to hold off on bounty change. You're muted, by the way, so if you're talking, we can't hear you.
Oh, yeah, I did. I was muted. Sorry.
There you go.
Yeah, I totally. I mean, I disagree on the bounty thing. I think if you're going to install it in the game, then maintain it. If you can't maintain it, then remove it. You can't maintain it. You haven't. It shouldn't have been there last time. It was a shitty bounty. It should be not there or fixed. And that's just how I feel. Totally. If you can't maintain it, then remove it.
Okay.
I mean, the bounty was just horrible. And then it actually was horrible. It's been horrible for a while, and we're just going to repeat it, and like that's okay when we're actually paying for this horribleness.
Well, only if you choose to.
Well, no, truly, only if you choose to, but paying in time if you choose to also. But it takes a lot of time to get those current prizes. That's a lot of time. So that's how I look at it. Paying.
As somebody who's ground map targets every single bounty, I realize how much time it takes, probably more than you do.
No, really. See, so yeah, my first experience was this last one, and I got to tell you, I scored the fewest out of any bounty I'll ever have had, because you got to be kidding. That's not fun. I personally, I just didn't find it fun. So I just was wishing that something would change, because the same result will occur in the next one on my bounty score and my bounty enjoyment factor. But so actually the same amount of spending is going to occur too. That's how I'm just going to look at it.
Well, see, my thought process though was more for the long term, like looking at the big picture and down the road, because there's no point changing everything to make this current bounty work if turned around and, like, you know, next month when you have the PvP refactor done, you have to change everything again to make it work for that and for afterwards. You know what I mean?
No, I get it, and I do understand it. You know, I'm good with. Yeah, but I understand. But you could do some little adjust. You could do little things to make it better. You could. It wouldn't take rocket science. They've even nailed it on accident, that one bounty.
Right. But I mean, I guess another thing too, and I should actually read what they're saying here as opposed to just what I know what my input was. But, you know, they were saying that also too, they didn't want to take the time away from working on trying to figure out what to do with the refactor itself to redo bounty. And I could see that. I might not necessarily agree with that argument, but I could see it as being a valid argument. Because the less time they spend, the more time they spend working on trying to make bounty work the way it currently is the less time they have to work on the PvP refactor itself. Toxic, you were going to say something?
Yeah, easy way that could have fixed that. Instead of giving you 400 points, give you 1,000 points, and it wouldn't be such a massive grind. I mean, the only that's the bad thing. They didn't give us enough points. The good thing about the last bounty was that the locator, where you could actually look for the level of target that you wanted to hit. If that locator wouldn't have been there, I would not have played the bounty, because all I could do was I wasn't going to spend hours and hours and hours and days sitting there driving my fleets through little targets and get 300, 400, 500 points. So I ordered 70s and 60s and whatnot, maybe an 80 sometimes, and all of a sudden, if you got the wrong one, your fleet would come back dead. But that was the only thing that made me participate in that bounty, was that locator. So I could just talk to my friends here on the Hangouts and whatnot, and in the background I just click a number and let the ships go. I ended up having 30,000 odd points, and yeah.
Oh, that's special. Toxic considers me his friend. I feel so privileged now. I think he was probably talking about the other two people that were on the Hangout with him.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, but you know, that's how I done my bounty. I wasn't sitting there and concentrating on what I have to do and blah blah blah. This is what you can't. You lose brain cells doing it. It's impossible. So
that was me, Toxic. I only got 30,000 myself because I didn't like the bounty the way it was, and I just clicked on stuff, and I didn't play half the days.
Exactly.
Let's be honest. There's a lot of us that can't afford to lose what little brain cells we have left.
Exactly right. And what am I doing here?
Exactly.
What was this about?
Oh my gosh! I have a ghost crawl. I've had it for 6 months.
That had to happen, didn't it?
Something else we were informed of is Waking Dragon. That is the name of the new raid, and it's going to be on October 4th. So I like that name. I like anything that has a name dragon in it. So.
Yeah.
Now, is it just me, or is her neck getting longer?
It may be. It may be. I do believe by the end of next year she's going to be a giraffe.
Well, it's a tribal thing. They do that, you know. I guess the rings. They're doing it with the outfit.
She doesn't have the rings on anymore, though.
Right.
Yeah, so when she takes.
But like, shouldn't her neck be like falling over since it doesn't have the rings there to support it?
Well, no, it's the suit. That's what I was just about to say when she takes that suit with that neck brace off, the head falls to her chest, does it?
Yeah. So it's October 4th, and I know it's got a shocker to everybody because it was mentioned. It was mentioned prior to this, but I didn't catch it myself, so it does seem awfully early. So it's
It's been action packed the last few weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta tell you.
It's something we're going to have to get used to.
It's a shame. It's a shame that the raid falls on a national holiday because that is the same day as Ross's birthday.
That's correct. It's Ross Fest, so I just don't see it happening.
There's a little tidbit that was buried that I couldn't even find the actual post on the forums. I had to snag it. George posted it over on the Bacon page, and I snagged it from there. That they are going to be doing some changes to what we've seen in the skirmish targets already. And these are all positive changes, in my opinion. The smart torpedoes now have fuel, so if you outrun them for a certain amount of time, they will just they'll just detonate harmlessly on their own. So that's a good thing. You can actually avoid damage from them if you run away from them. I know some of the targets are probably going to have quite a few of them in there, so you might spend a whole lot of your battle running away, but it is an option. Let's see. You'll still want to avoid the cryo zones left by smart torpedoes and proto-nemis as they leave you vulnerable. Tactical field resistance can also be useful here. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, but their slow magnitude. The slow magnitude, however, has been reduced by roughly 30%. It doesn't affect the amount of difficulty of the targets, but it will make them faster to complete because, you know, when you're getting hit by ice fields and your fleet speed was dropping to like literally sitting there, not moving at all, it was taking a long time to do targets on the test. I can tell you that. So yeah, that 30% speed reduction, you know, them having reduced that by 30%, definitely a good thing. And the last one, my favorite, because this was one I personally pointed out, and they actually said, yeah, that's fair feedback, and we'll change that. The Reaper and Command Reaper assets have been replaced to the Nighthawk and Command Nighthawk assets. Though the change is superficial, that is, you know, you're just going to be seeing a different skin there. The behavior isn't changing, but the Nighthawk does represent the functionality of the hull better, as which will make the target more intuitive. And what they're talking about there is, I mean, we've had Reapers in the game for a while now, and we all know that even when they're quote unquote submerged, they still are supposed to take partial damage. And the Reapers and the targets were not taking any damage when they were submerged. So they changed it to a Nighthawk. That way, you know, when you see a sub that's a Nighthawk, you don't expect them to be taking damage when it's submerged, unless, of course, you have stuff that can hit underwater. So it more represents what you're actually hitting, and like they said, makes it more intuitive to what you're used to. So yeah, I pointed that out, and they were actually on that, very receptive to my comments on that. So I for one appreciate that. I think it makes it easier just for people to know, like, oh, I know what this sub is, and I know what does hit it, and when it does not hit it, and I think it's much better now. Next thing we got, we're everybody on the show is starting to get their own little segments where they're going to pick a thing that they want to talk about for the weekend. Ross, you have chosen to talk about the bus this week.
Right. Okay. Well, first, what I was going to say I'm just talking about my bus here, and everybody's got their own different little setup. And my bus here I built this for splash. Now, some people could say, well, everybody's got a different combination for splash and that type of thing, and I'll go over that too. But this one here, I did build primarily with the pandemonium mortar. I like this mortar because it's at retro level here. I'm refreshing the game here at the same time I'm speaking, but that's got the most splash in all honesty in the game so far, if you have it retroed. If you do not have it retroed, it does not. So that's really a borderline decision whether you have the pandemonium mortar in your retrograde to level 15. it does go up to its a splash is 23.53, so that's extremely high. Now, what I did is I threw a siege mortar, the D85D on, and then I also put a judgment mortar. When I found that when I ran all pandemoniums, when I throw a couple oddballs in, I get more to land. I know it seems strange, but it throws off the cycle on the where the anti shoot at. Some have a higher arc than the others, and it gets some of the antis away from it, and you truly will land more if you throw a couple oddball mortars in your fleet. Not necessarily on each hull, but you'll want it in the sloth fleet. Now for armors, now this one I have not refit for quite some time, but it's still working quite well. It was the compound plate V. I chose this because it has an explosive, ballistic, and penetrative deflection all low at 64,000, but it's there. It will survive a few mortar shots. You can't sit under mortar fire, but it will do the entrance turn, while the screen loads type thing. You'll survive those hits. So I prefer that armor on that one. I went with the speed system on that for an engine. Now, some people prefer the even higher splash rate. I don't suggest that until you truly have mastered driving. A lot of times you just can't get out of the incorrect entry points without an engine. So I suggest an engine. The very first special really truly has nothing to do with mortars. It's totally there for splash. It's viscosity regulator. It's a 50% splash bonus. The very next special would be garrison battery. Now that one's going to increase explosive damage by 18%, building damage by 65%, and wall damage by 65%. This also carries the turret defense 50%. So you're going to want that on this hull no matter what your special choices are. Now, the very next one also is truly just another splash ad, but this one here reduces spread by 30. I don't totally like the spread reduction. However, with this very next special, the inverted explosives, that's going to change it right back up, the spread back to 30. And that one's going to add splash of 105% along with an explosive bonus of 80%. So that's a really important special in this on this ship here. But that one there is also what the inverted explosives is what makes it me have to put so many oddball specials on. Once you add that special, it limits the other specials that can go on this hull. The very last special is combustion system 2, and I put this on for projectile speed, spread, and splash. So it has a projectile speed of 37%, spread is plus 20%, and splash is 74%. So this hull is going to come out with a total of 384% splash. It really is going to hammer. It does really well. It takes 7 tiles easy. I like this bus. This is I suggest, with the new gates out, it's going to limit to the use, but all the way up to through those, even used strategically, you'll still be able to use this currently in the game right now.
I would also say maybe 1 or 2 little changes I personally might make to it, because we all look at things a little bit differently. And I know you said you haven't refit the armor on this for a long time, but I might be wanting to put like maybe 2 panels of the U armor on it, perhaps, just because we have those really long range radioactive turrets now that if people put priority targeting on them, that could cause a problem for your sloths, so that could help against that. Maybe change one of the mortars to like the 2XQ, the one that gives you the concussive resistance for the really long range priority targeting axioms. But yeah, other than that, it looks good to me. I like it. But
Yeah.
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, yeah, I think, yeah, I guess that looking back, I have not refit this. This is, I've had this for quite some time because it's worked so well. But yeah, I'd take advantage of the deflections offered in mortars now with the oddball suggestions. I'd use those.
Cool.
And if you use a what's the crew Molotov Maiden?
Yes.
It gives you 30% splash, so they put that on and it works even better.
Right. You're way up there in splash.
And then Dan wanted to talk about some turret options. So take it away, Dan.
Yeah, we're gonna just talk about some, basically how to make a turret. Everybody asks, what do I put on this turret? What do I put on that turret? So we're gonna start with the pyroclastic turret 2 that we can get in FM right now that everybody has an opportunity to get. That way, everybody can't ask what should I put on it, what not. You just need to look at the turret itself, and you can see that what the weapon type is, what the damage type is, and then that way you can go and start picking out what you want for specials on there. I mean, you got the atomic focus that has some radioactive accuracy of 120% and the radioactive damage plus 30%. Well, that's your damage type you're gonna have. All right, and there's one other special you could put on, which is the radioactive isotopes, which gives you some projectile speed, some only 75% accuracy, but more damage. It's pretty much your choice because you only put one of these on what you want. Want more damage, more accuracy, more speed. I mean, it's going to be your choice. I mean, can't say either one would be wrong, but here's the tier 7 and a tier 7 isotope for it too. So that would probably be the best match. As we go on, I say we got you can put your alloy panels on for some defense. I put explosive and corrosive on this one here just to show you can put it on. We don't got many choices for what we can add on here for the radioactive and a thrower.
Yeah, I just want to jump in here for a second. The third choice on the turrets is a lot of times the hardest one because it's like, there's really options a lot of times for that third one. Like another one that might be useful here too is like the ZU platform that gives you 15% reload. Or if you want your stuff to get to the target faster, like heavy ballistic shells for projectile speed. I mean, the third choice is a lot of times where you have like a couple different options.
Sometimes it'll come down to, as we get to the end and showing you, is the weight that you have left on your turrets. I say the middle one, the radon reserves. That's the only other radioactive. I mean, it gives you a radioactive reload with that there, which helps out. But the other special abilities does nothing. It's on there just for the reload rate for radioactive. And then the final one, I got the AT transformer on there, plus all explosive. That's why I went with the other there. And you can tell that your weight with just that on there runs way up there. So it's kind of, you got to watch your specials you put on there. Cause if you put on a different special instead of armor over there, it most likely bring you overweight.
Well, and I suppose instead of weight, we should say power.
Okay, power. All right. Yeah.
I do like the way that you highlighted all the different specials, though. That way, it would show up what they were and what they did. I do.
I thought I'd do that. That's because people are asking, "What's that? What's that? What's that?" Well, you know what it is.
There you go, Ross. Take a tip, Ross. Take a tip.
And also, that's the correct order in which you build it. Don't be building it with the massive armor and then try to fit these specials on and go, it doesn't work. I've had that hurt. I've heard that myself. The correct order is the turret, the AG transformer specials, and then fit the armor on.
Correct.
Yep, totally agree. And I think, believe it or not, I think we might be finally at the end of the slides. That's it, folks. That was all 30. That was all 32 slides. Man, they took a while to do. Let me tell you.
I was pretty worried here that I wanted to say something about something too. that I didn't know about. Lucky it didn't occur.
Does somebody hear anybody talking? What? Huh? So Toxic, since you were Johnny Come Lately, what did you want to talk about?
No, I didn't. That's why I'm happy that I didn't want to talk about anything that I didn't know about. You know what I mean?
Well,
remember that bus?
That was the whole show.
You know, just remember that bus that we all get run over by every now and then.
All right. So, yeah, something I did want to talk about, and I forgot to make a slide for it, was Shipyard 6. The amount of build time that puppy is. It was 16 days and change, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is.
How are we supposed to find time to upgrade that fucker in the midst of all these building raid ships and building this and building that? Like, I don't know about you guys, but I can't afford to have my shipyard down for 16 days.
No, that one's holding off until there's some tokens offered, and not even just in some raid cycle. I'm not even the 16 days.
Yeah.
See, that's a long setback. So
I definitely foresee a TLC, and after a little bit, they got to let the whales, coin all their shit up real quick, and I get that, and that's fine. But yeah, I definitely want to see a TLC with like some of these 7-day build tokens or something coming up sometime soon, or like 3-5 days or something. I can afford to have my yard down for a day, but 16 days, you're out of your freaking mind.
Well, I just happen to have enough to do that right away, so I'll be.
I might have grandchildren coming soon here, so.
Oh, there you go. Well, we're pretty much done anyway. Unless anybody had anything else they want to hit on.
Of course I do. The Conquest Yard and the Shipyard. Now, level 2 Conquest Yard. Does that give you the 15% already?
Yes.
For the Legion?
Yes.
So it is by yard. So you don't get that until you get to level what do you call it? Level 6 Shipyard.
Correct.
Is when you get the Legion in the Shipyard, but you've already got it on level 2 in the Conquest Yard.
Correct. But yeah, that is kind of weird, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Well, in a certain degree, though, it makes sense because let's be honest, the game was always meant to be a PvP game. It was never meant to be a PvE game. It's just kind of turned into a PvE game. So maybe by giving that bonus there earlier, maybe that shows some indication that they're trying to get it back to more of a PvP game than a PvE game. I don't know.
We'd like to think that.
I was just wondering whether I was right with that, but it seems to be that I was. It was just a bit strange, that's all. So I thought I'd ask.
Well, yeah, it is a bit strange for you to be right. I will agree with that.
It happens. It happens.
It does. It does. Well, they say the sun even shines on the dog's butt now, man. Isn't that what they say?
Even the blind bird gets a worm.
Is that right? Dan, you got anything?
No, I don't think I do.
Ross, you good?
I'm good.
Toxic's good. Yeah,
I'm right.
I didn't even give him a chance. I'm like, yeah, Toxic's good.
I'm right, so I'm good.
All right. And while you're ahead, right?
That's true.
All right. Yeah, and I think I'm pretty good. So, yeah, just give us a thumbs up, give us a like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Send your friends to the page. And we will talk to you Saturday when we have another exciting episode of No Quarter. That's where we're trying to start to limit the rants to the No Quarter stuff and try to keep the Thursday show a little bit more on even keel. Hopefully we get a little bit more successful at that than what we've been lately. We'll see what happens. But yeah, thanks everybody. We appreciate you. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Guru.